Hello there, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here to be talking about Zootopia 2. Now, this is the long-awaited, and I really mean long-awaited sequel to the beloved classic Zootopia, which came out in 2016. And it's been 9 years, believe it or not, since that film came out. And that was such a important film, I'd say, for not only, this channel, but I guess for me as like a film critic, because seeing that film and the world that the team built and the characters and everything was one of the films that inspired me to start this channel. And I've probably mentioned in the past, there's a lot of, I guess, inspirations, whether it be like Chris Stuckman, when I mentioned Shelby Oaks, like I adored his reviews and grew up watching a lot of his videos. But this was one of those films that I really just was so in love with, and I've watched it so many times, and it made me really want to talk and just spread my thoughts on certain topics, being in the movie industry and TV shows and stuff. And this film follows our beloved duo of Nick and Judy, taking place I think about a week after the first film, which is funny in hindsight. And it's them trying to work off of how they are as a new pair, as like a partnership as a ZPD. And when there's a new case that comes into town, being how we see reptiles are really introduced into the film, because I believe there weren't any in the original, and that was for good reason, because they have a big presence in this film. And a snake is the main focus here, where they're trying to uncover this mystery, and the snake is tied in, and then as a result they get framed for something, and so they have to not only clear their names but also uncover this mystery involved with this snake character to, I guess, save the city, which is the second time, besides the original film. So going into this, I was obviously really looking forward to it, because, I love the first film, I love these characters and this world that was built. And also I was really curious to see if Disney still had that magic in them, because Disney, over these past couple of years, I felt like has been hit or miss, mainly miss, in terms of the quality and, financial results of their products, because a lot of their films, for example, mainly the Marvel films, have underperformed or outright, I guess you could say, bombed. And their past animated films, like you can mention Strange World, Lightyear, which I know one of those is like a Pixar film, but there's just a lot of films that they put out recently that just haven't really been not only that good, but also not really connected with audiences. And that was another reason, besides, loving this movie and this universe and stuff. I was really looking forward to this, to try to bring Disney back to their glory days, where they tell great stories and have, great messages and characters. And it's safe to say, with all this build-up, that I really love this film. And one of the main reasons why I loved it is, for example, the main focus on our two characters, Nick and Judy. Now, I know there's been a lot of debates in the film on the will they, won't they, in terms of relationship, because obviously they have great chemistry, they work really well off each other, they're such a fun duo, and a lot of people would obviously want to ship it, and I believe those people are called Wild Hops, their names as the ship name. And I have to say, I kind of, think they would make a great couple as well, and I won't really spoil what happens with that, but there's a lot of development with how they interact with each other as characters, and there is some pretty well done moments, particularly this one scene which we've seen from the marketing, where they're on like this snowy bridge. Like that scene, let's just say you'll probably see that in my top 10 entertainment moments later on in December, because that was a fantastic scene and it got me kind of emotional, because I just thought it was really well done. But like I said, the main draw for me are these characters, and of course they aren't the only ones. The snake, Gary, who's played by Kiwi Hwan, who obviously we all know as Short Round growing up from Indiana Jones, but he's had kind of like a renaissance in his career with Everything Everywhere All at Once. And seeing him in this film, though surprisingly not as much in the film as we were all expecting from the marketing, I thought he was great, and his voice performance was really good. And of course some characters from the original film, while they don't get as much screen time, like Chief Bogo and Clawhauser, from the ZPD, they're still in the film, and of course, as before, they're great. Judy's parents, obviously, from the original film, they're back, and, there's some fun moments that I was really enjoying. And I really want to say the animation with, like, the facial expressions on, like, characters, I guess, being frustrated or, being happy. Like, I really was just really focused in on how well done the animation was with, you know, telling the emotions of characters just by looks or by the great score in the background, which I believe is also done once again by Michael Giacchino, who is an incredible composer, and I really love his score, particularly for Zootopia, but he's done a lot of other great stuff. Again, here, I really enjoyed it. The animation, which is pretty safe to say, you know, given how Disney's such a huge company, the animation's going to be great all around. But the animation I thought was really great. And also the mystery of the film about, you know, how the snake ties in to, like, you know, why are people so freaked out with a snake being in Zootopia? Why aren't they allowed in here? Why are they segregated out? And, you know, the mystery there, and, you know, let's just say there is, you know, a villain that we don't really know about per se, and I guess it could be the cliche, you know, twist villain, but it's done in a bit of a more interesting way where I was a bit taken by surprise a little bit, but I guess if you have nitpicks with that, those are still there. But again, like, the film's, you know, main themes and all about, you know, our main two characters, how Judy is so overly, like, enthusiastic about solving cases, about saving people, and just rushing in there without a care. And, you know, Nick is more concerned and, you know, cautious and, you know, cares for her and stuff. And so I just thought their dynamics throughout, some great banter, some, you know, solid emotional moments, and just some good action throughout. And, you know, bringing everything together and seeing more of this world fleshed out, basically outside of Zootopia, like outside of the city. I thought overall the film was fantastic. There's very few flaws I can critique that I can really think of besides little nitpicks here and there. But again, this was a great film from Disney, and I was happy to see that they still had it, because obviously the voice performances, you know, Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman, they have great chemistry as their characters, Nick and Judy and stuff. And of course, newcomers who come in great. Overall, I'm kind of rambling here, but I really did love this film, and I do plan on seeing it a couple more times, whether it be in theaters again or on Disney+. But with all that said, those are my thoughts on Zootopia 2. Again, what do you all think about this film? Please let me know down below in the comment section. And if you want to hit the bell as well to get notified of when I upload, that would mean so much to me. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye!